Instructions not included, written by Lena Mohan. I was sitting at my computer when I heard a knock on the front door. Since my parents weren't home, I had to answer it. It's not like I was doing anything important, though. I was just sifting through Tumblr. I stood up, grabbed my phone, and sauntered out of my bedroom to go downstairs. Looking through the kitchen window, I saw a UPS truck parked just outside. I suddenly felt paranoid. It's just a delivery guy, I reasoned. What's the worst that could happen? I opened the door to find a slightly bored, middle-aged man waiting on my front step with a clipboard and a small package. Package for... He paused to read the label on the box. Rachel Rosenthal? I frowned as I took the clipboard and then the pen from him. I hadn't ordered anything online recently, and as far as I knew, my parents hadn't either. That's me. What's in it? I asked as I scribbled my name. I don't know, kid. He took back the clipboard and the pen before handing me the box. Have a nice day. Thanks, you too. He walked back to his truck and I closed the door absent-mindedly, still trying to figure out what the purpose of this cardboard box was. I set it down on the kitchen counter, intending to call my mom. She picked up after only a couple rings, and I wasted no time in asking her, "Did you order anything for me recently?" "No," she responded lightly. "Why are you asking?" "A box just arrived. My name is labeled as the recipient. It could be junk mail." "In a box? Really?" She paused for a moment before saying, "You should ask your dad. He might know something." "Okay." I hung up and followed her suggestion, but the conversation I had with my dad ended up the same way. I figured I might as well open the box, seeing as the delivery wasn't simply a mistake regarding the house numbers. Mistakes like that were common enough, considering that most of the numbers were hard to see unless you were in the house's respective driveway. I grabbed a pair of scissors and got to work cutting the packaging tape. Under the layer of brown cardboard rested a second box, this one a solid matte black. It looked like it might contain some kind of technology, modern or futuristic. I gently pried the top off and nearly dropped it at the sight of the box contents. Nestled in a thick block of foam was a black pistol. It took a good several seconds to calm my thudding heart. Once I could breathe at a steady rate, I glanced back at the box. It was still sitting there on the kitchen counter. Nah, I decided. This could still possibly be a dream. But what if I poked it? Surely my finger would go right through it. I edged closer to the box and prodded it. To my surprise, a sort of tingling shock ran through my finger and past my arm, only to rest for a fleeting second in my chest before spreading throughout the rest of my body. The strange sensation was over so fast that I thought I imagined it, but when I jabbed my finger at the sleek barrel again, my finger was met only with cold, unfeeling metal. I huffed with a sense of finality as I ran my hands through my long red hair. I had to call my parents again. I had to. I pulled out my cell phone from my pocket and dialed my mom. Immediately I got the 3 beeps indicating that the number I dialed is not available and that I should check the number. I knew it was impossible I got the number wrong, considering I called my mom the same way, by speed dial, only 5 minutes ago. I tried calling my dad, but I got the same beeps and automated cell phone lady again. I discarded my phone on the counter and snatched a handset connected to our landline. Both calls to my parents' numbers didn't go through. I called my next-door neighbors, the Mitchells. Beep, beep, beep. We're sorry, but the number you have dialed, click. I hung up. I called my other next-door neighbor, Mr. Sitwell. Beep, beep, beep. We're sorry, click. By the time I dialed the last number, I'd already tried calling the landlines and cell phones of 2 other neighbors and my cousins, the latter of whom live on the opposite side of the country. All of those attempts ended the same way, including that final call. And what was that last number I dialed? 911. Beep, beep, click. I could barely resist the urge to scream and throw the phone across the room. Too scared to do anything else, I sunk to the floor and stared blankly at the handset. There's no way that every single phone line is down at the exact same time as cell reception everywhere. That's impossible. You'd have to hack the entire country to do something that outrageous. Just then the phone rang, and I jumped and screeched at the sound coming from the receiver that I was still holding. I checked the tiny glowing screen. Restricted caller. I was too shaken to move my fingers, so I sat and waited for the answering machine to take the call. But when the ringing finally stopped, I gasped at what I heard. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The machine didn't play back the message my dad recorded. I didn't hear anything that might have indicated that the caller hung up. There was just this deafening silence that echoed throughout the entire house. I was too afraid to move, too afraid that if I made a single noise, some kind of freakish hell would implode around me. And so I waited. For 10 seconds I sat there, until finally a voice resonated through the shitty speakers of the answering machine. It was deep and metallic, as if whoever was speaking ran their voice through some sort of scrambler. Kill or be killed. Click.